where they need to know the must-add players, Brian. The guys they should keep their eyes on. The guy that should be in the back of their head. Just, do I add him? Do I not? Or do I had to get this guy?
Yeah.
And so let's start, man.
Yeah. Start off with Ahmed Rosario, Tampa Bay Rays. So 13-game hitting streak. That is a nice thing to start with. He's batting 343, 3 stolen bases.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the Rays are very much like a Moneyball team too, right? Where
Yeah.
you never know which guy's going to do it, which week. It's tough to kind of pinpoint outside of like Randy Rosarena being their top dog and Yandy Diaz, I guess. But I was watching the Rays Yankees game, and the announcers were talking about how Ahmed Rosario actually took less money to go to the Rays, and he had a bigger offer from the Yankees, which I thought was interesting, and it kind of shows that he wanted to play every day. He was willing to, make a position move. He's playing outfield more, even though he's a shortstop by trade. So yeah, I think, this is a guy you could very easily see hit the 15 home run, 15 stolen base threshold, maybe even hit a 2020 season if this keeps up. Definitely going to have some regression, I think. He's not going to bat 343 all year, but ride the hot hand and the multi-position eligibility in your season-long leagues. He's probably got second base, shortstop, and outfield eligibility at this point. So good plug-and-play option if you're dealing with any other injuries. And again, he's not flashy, but he's going to get the job done for you.
Right. Am I crazy? Am I tripping when I say that so many players that we talk about on waivers here or rising, players that are rising stuff were all former Mets?
No, you're not.
Am I dealing with some emotional damage here? Or
I think you've been burned. I think Mets fans just constantly do get burned.
I feel like when half the players we talk about were players the Mets had wanted to get out of the Mets or the Mets gave up on.
Well, Ahmed Rosario was part of the Francisco Lindor trade, right? So he went to Cleveland. Yeah. Like obviously I know Lindor's had a tough start, but like
he's better, obviously.
They traded, I think it was Rosario and Jimenez to get. They were the big two pieces that went to Cleveland. So like, yeah, I get it. I mean, it's like me watching Jose Siri stealing bags and stuff for Tampa Bay, right? Like, but yeah, the Mets had the talent and they knew what they had, and that's why they were able to move these guys for Lindor. So yeah, you're dealing with a little PTSD. I get it.
Yeah, I am. It's okay. I just wanted to mention that because I feel it all the time. Next part on the list, an Astro.
Yep, I waited. I didn't want to keep bringing him up. I thought about bringing him up the last couple of weeks. But yeah, Jeremy Pena, shortstop for the Astros. So look, the Astros record sucks. Their pitching sucks. Their offense, outside of yesterday, does not suck. They still are like one of the top 10 in the league as far as offensive performance. And Pena is a big part of that. He's in the bottom of that lineup. He's providing kind of that spark that they need. Hitting over 350, right? Like he's already scored 11 runs. He's got 10 ribbies and he's stolen 4 bases. So he's doing everything. A lot of times like shortstop, you can argue it's maybe the most stacked position because guys have dual eligibility at it. Pena does only have shortstop eligibility, but he is doing a lot of stuff, and the power looks like it's coming back. His exit velo is creeping up again. I remember this is the kid who he won the World Series MVP 2 years ago. And I know World Series and postseason is different from regular season. I know that, but let's not discount him just because he had a questionable year last year. He retooled his swing, and it looks like it's starting to pay off. So if you need a shortstop, you need a middle infield ad. I think he has now proven that he's going to stay relatively consistent.
Yeah. Freaking shortstop is just super stacked for sure.
Yeah. But if you lost, guys like Carlos Correa, like, Jeremy Pena is a good throw in your lineup and see what happens.
Yeah. All right. The last guy on the list here, Andy Pages.
Yes. Pages. I don't know if it's like Pages, Page. Like, I don't know how I didn't put the little accent on our show doc.
I say I'm all wrong. Come at me.
But the Dodgers lineup, the bottom third of that lineup has been kind of the weak spot we've seen. Like guys like James Outman that a lot of us thought would be good bright spots in the bottom of that lineup haven't really done it yet. So they called up Andy Pages or Page or whatever, throw a little French flourish on there. But he hit his first home run yesterday, and he's only batting .222 so far in 5 games, but he started all 5 games that he's been up for. So lefty on lefty doesn't really matter. They're letting him play. So to me, that means if you're a top prospect, especially in the Dodgers organization, who has a very good track record of bringing up guys that are worthwhile, pay attention. And if you need outfield help, I think you grab this guy, you grab Andy Pages, and you see what happens. Page. I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, it's not pronounced that way. Why'd you pronounce it 5 different ways? I just shut up. Okay. There's a lot of things going on. Okay. There's a lot of baseball news. Sorry, I didn't get the pronunciation right.
Yeah. And also, like you said, I mean, they lost to the Mets recently. They were having some struggles. I mean, they're struggling a little bit. So
yeah, the Dodgers need to find a spark. They need somebody at the bottom of the order that they can, they know is at least going to try and have a better shot at getting on base.
Right. So we'll take it. We'll take it, man. We'll take it. All right, let's move over to some pitchers. And there's finally a Marlin on here on the show, period. I don't think we ever talk about Marlins besides opening day. I might talk about, Jazz a little bit, but other than that, we haven't spoken about any Marlins at all. And so Edward Cabrera, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, man. It's good to see Edward Cabrera. He's kind of like a post-type sleeper now. So he got activated off the IL, and the corresponding move was for the Marlins to send Max Meyer down to the minors again, which I don't get. I don't know if the tank is in full effect or whatever. It feels like the fix is in. I know Meyer had Tommy John last year. He's coming off of that, probably limiting his innings. Fine, whatever. That said, Cabrera came off the IL. He's had 2 really solid starts. I lost my Fantrax tab for him, but I know that he's pitched 12 innings, 7 innings and 5 innings, I think. And he gets the Nationals this week. The Nationals have been hitting the ball really well, but I think Cabrera is definitely worth a look in most leagues, especially because he's probably very underowned in season long. And I think that matchup against the Nationals is a nice DFS play.
Yeah. Yeah. He's another one of those guys where he may pitch 5-6 innings, but he's getting strikeouts when he's playing well. And so it's if you can get those 7-10 strikeouts in a limited period of time, you'll take it. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Here, just to go back to it really quick, his first game. Yeah. So he's had 17 strikeouts over his first 2 games. So he had against the Giants, he had 10, against the Cubs, he had 7. So, and then his first start, it looks like, I believe it was a quality start. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, it was a quality start his first game off the IL. So, there's no reason to not give Cabrera a little bit of confidence. He looks pretty solid coming off the IL here.
Yeah. All right. Good for the Marlins. Good for Cabrera. Hopefully he can stay consistent because I know that's a problem for him, but yeah. All right. Next guy, a Pirate pitcher. Have we talked about enough Pirate pitchers? We've definitely talked about some Pirate pitchers. They definitely have some.
We talk about Jared Jones every week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, exactly. my goodness. My goodness.
So you tell him who we're talking about this week, Brian. That's name is not Jared Jones. That is a pitcher of the Pirates.
Talk about Paul Skeens, top pitching prospect in baseball. Okay. So here's the caveat. He's not called up yet. And the Pirates are playing it very close to the vest on if they're going to call him up, when they're going to call him up, whatever. You go look at what he's done in the minor leagues. He hasn't pitched more than 3 2/3 yet. So they're taking their time stretching him out to get him up to 5-6 innings, which I think is still a ways off.
Yeah.
He has an almost 60% strikeout rate. The dude is getting people to strike out. I think it's 57.4% of the time. Okay. It is. And he's throwing absolute gas on the gun. He's topping 100 multiple times a game.
Right.
So if he isn't owned, if he's not if he's not on the back of somebody's bench, just grab him. Just see. I would be shocked if the Pirates wait on any later than May 1st to call him up. I think they may give Skeens 1, maybe 2 more starts just to get him stretched in the minors.
Right.
But he's given them every reason to call him up. Yeah. So don't think about it. Just pick him up if in your traditional leagues. And as soon as he's up, use him in DFS.
Yeah, and the Pirates have been asked about this, right? I mean, they're like, we have a plan, we're sticking to it. Like, we're not rushing them up here. There's things to still work on. Like, they're not rushing it. So
yeah,
I mean,
and I'm very happy to hold him on my bench if I have the ability to do it. But I do think that 1-2 punch of Skeens and Jared Jones, once it's in the majors, that's going to be very scary. Assuming that they can both keep it figured out.
Yep. Slight caveat: Jared Jones has 2 starts this week coming up.
Yeah, if you're
I'm just saying
he is a must start in any format. It is Jared Jones.
Just saying.
Wow, yeah, the kid looks unbelievable. So
yeah,
start him.
Definitely start him. And then there's one more player here on the list, Braves pitcher, that kind of did your team in a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been impressive watching Reynaldo Lopez bounce back. You know, I think he kind of got left for dead with the White Sox, but he signed with the Braves this offseason, and he's pitched 3 games and he's pitched 3 quality starts. So his K to walk ratio is not great. It's 3-1. So it's like 18-6 over the course of his 3 starts. But his ERA is 0.5 and his whip is under 1. So you can't really ask for much better off the waiver, especially when you have that type of an offense behind you. So Reynaldo Lopez, big fan of him. And in a lot of places, he's going to have SPARP eligibility. So he'll have starting pitcher and relief pitcher eligibility for you. So if you need to throw him into an RP spot and get those starting pitcher stats, you can do that in a lot of places. So, yeah, big fan of, and I think he's going to have to step up even more with the Spencer Strider injury.
And again, sneak preview, 2-start pitcher this week. 2 starts. 2 starts this week.
2-start pitcher.
That's my favorite thing in the world at this point. It is what it is. All right. Also, you have articles coming out this week, as you do every week.
Yep. We'll have some waiver wire stuff, some hitters. We'll talk a little bit of relief pitching. We'll talk some pitchers who are on the IL that might be coming back in May. So stay tuned for that.
One of them is one of my favorite pitchers, man. Who just keeps getting hurt? Taj Bradley, man. I'm a big Taj fan.
If he gets a full season in the MLB, I think he's going to really turn a corner. I'm excited to see what he does. We just got to get him healthy. Stop getting blisters. Stop pulling your pec. Taj, get it together, man. We want to see you on the mound.
Stop pulling stuff. All right. So I think that was it for the waivers.
I think so. Yeah.
And what I like there is you gave us a little bit of everything, man. You gave us, players who were kind of, on the fence prospects, not pulled up exactly type of guys. And then you also gave us, guys who are here, guys who are in the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I appreciate that.
The way I come at waiver is like, it's also guys you got to keep your eye on, right? Like,
right.
Just because we're talking about them in week 4 or 5 doesn't mean they're not going to, they may not get called up till week 8, or they may taper off and then come back. Like, these are guys that you just have to put a little respect on the name. And even if you don't use them immediately, they're still valuable baseball players for their organizations, and thus will still be valuable for fantasy.
Yeah, and get ahead of your league mates who are sleeping on them. I mean, like if they're sleeping at the wheel, we know it's a long season. They may not be carrying so much early on. Whatever the case is, this is your chance to take advantage of those kind of owners. So